Iran conflict could be on the brink of a dramatic change. President Trump reportedly close to a decision on what he calls a massive attack. He's also set to meet Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu next Tuesday at the White House. And that meeting could help shape what comes next. The United States now has launched strikes on the radical Islamic regime of Iran, military targets, and 13 straight nights of it, and other strategic points there. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. Earlier today, U.S.-led forces shot down 5 explosive drones over Erbil. That's near an airport base that hosts American troops. Witnesses are reporting at least 7 explosions, several plumes of black smoke. Local security officials reporting no one was killed in any of that. No damage to mention, and there is no evidence the base itself was hit. The incident raises fresh concerns for U.S. forces in the region. And the United States is rapidly degrading Iran's military capabilities, but there is new evidence. The radical Islamic regime is rebuilding at remarkable speed. The satellite image that you see on the left side of your screen shows damage from our strikes to tunnel entrances and an access road at a missile base in northwestern Iran. Now look at the picture on the right, that satellite image on the right of your screen. This is just a few weeks later, showing a newly paved road and freshly excavated entrances. Those rapid repairs are helping Iran stay in the fight. But look, we have been at war for really fewer days than they were in that ceasefire. I mean, if you take the 145 days or so of war, at least 130 of them have been during the ceasefire. What do you think that they were going to do with the ceasefire? That's what they've been doing, gearing up, because fighting is their identity. Here's Fox News senior strategic analyst, General Jack Keane.
As we speak right now, the Iranians are talking about negotiating again. And so that choice is available to us. We can go back and negotiate and kick the can down the road and see if we can get a better deal. But I think where the president is, he sees them for what they really are. Look, this regime hasn't changed, truth be known, in 47 years. The same ideology, different people. So the choice going forward is, do we fix this regime and shut down their behavior once and for all?
Access to the important oil shipping lane, Strait of Hormuz, at the heart of the conflict right now. President Trump posted until further notice that from this point forth, any and all damages done to ships, cargo, or anything related thereto will be paid for by Iranian money that the United States has in its possession and controls. Lieutenant General Karen Gibson is with me in Focus today. First, I want to bring in our senior White House correspondent, Peter Doocy, at the White House. Peter.
Harris, President Trump doesn't think the Iranians are getting it. That trying to restart their nuclear program, trying to take over the Strait of Hormuz is only going to make him more angry. And that is why peace talks are off indefinitely.
We're doing very well against the Islamic Republic of Iran. We're doing extremely well. They would like to do something, but I say they're not ready yet. They need more of the same. They're not ready yet. They got some evil intentions. We cannot let them have a nuclear weapon.
Now the president is telling Axios about Iran, I'm considering a massive attack, bigger than ever before. I'm close to making a decision. We are all set for it. And Secretary Rubio is responding directly to Iran's foreign minister, who posted this week, our defense doctrine is clear, eye for an eye.
I think I saw, guys, I saw Arachi, their foreign minister, who the other day say or something about their policies, an eye for an eye. The president's policy is a head for an eye.
And President Trump has never liked suggestions that early on in this campaign he was pushed towards the war by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. We have just learned that Benjamin Netanyahu is going to come meet with the president this week when he is in town for Lindsey Graham's funeral. What impact, if any, that has on the president's decision to order possibly the biggest strike against Iran ever remains to be seen. But we'll know on Tuesday.
Yeah,
Harris.
and the backdrop, too, here in New York City, by the way, is Mayor Mamdani, who's been throwing out all those threats that Netanyahu should be arrested when he gets here in September for the General Assembly at the UN. But now he's coming sooner than that. The president has already said that Mamdani, and I'm paraphrasing, is ridiculous to say that. And, of course, he doesn't have the authority to arrest Prime Minister of Israel. Just adding that in. Peter, thank you very much.
And things were going so well with Trump and Mamdani.
All right, I'm glad you always get the last word, because it's always the best one. Thank you, Peter. All right, in focus, Lieutenant General Karen Gibson, former CENTCOM Intelligence Director and active duty U.S. Army intelligence officer for 33 years. First of all, thank you for your great service to our nation, and I'm so glad you're here today. Look, I made some notes for our conversation. I'm going to look down. So it looks like Iran is trying to open up a new front in the war. They may have done that, having to do with yet another oil shipping lane and the tariffs that they pay inside Yemen. Your take on it?
Well, the Houthis are certainly an Iranian proxy, but they're not an Iranian puppet. You know, they willingly take considerable financing and lethal, sophisticated weapons from Iran, but not always instructions. And so I would kind of differentiate this. Certainly there have been opportunities for the Houthis to get engaged from day one, but they remain an independent actor who make decisions based on their own interests. And I believe this current spat, or the action they've taken in the Bab el-Mandeb, is related to a feud they have with Saudi Arabia. Now, it increases Iran's leverage in the Straits of Hormuz because it makes it that much more valuable. But I'm pretty sure they are taking this action of their own accord, even though it does support Iran's broader aims.
Talk to me about the money that flows to these groups from Iran. What can you tell us about that? Because I understand perhaps the independence with motive, but they can't be financially independent that way because it costs money to do what they're doing.
Certainly, but they do control, some part of Yemen, the territory of Yemen. So, they have their own. They're not wealthy, but they do have an ability to tax the populace, et cetera. I think what's as important as the money, though, and the provision of advanced, sophisticated, lethal weaponry. They can produce things indigenously, and the Iranians have trained them to do that, but not precision-guided munitions, not some of the navigational, the navigation of the missile itself. That has come to them, that technology from Iran. And I think that's actually the most dangerous aspect of the aid from the IRGC.
That's critically important information. Thank you very much, Lieutenant General. I'm glad you went there. Let's talk a little bit about what it takes, not just with the terrorists in Yemen, but you've got Hezbollah, you've got the president having met in recent days with the president of Lebanon. And the way that you just described the Houthis sounds a little bit like maybe a smaller version of Hezbollah, controlling a certain section, a southern section of a different nation.
It's true. I mean, Hezbollah is inherently a Lebanese entity who is sworn as part of their manifesto to the destruction of the state of Israel. Another distinction I'd make there, the Houthis have not always been aligned with Iran, but the Lebanese Hezbollah has, and there is a much closer linkage there. But they also, particularly under Nasrallah, who was killed by the Israelis, I believe that was last year. He did not see himself as subordinate to the IRGC, but as leading a separate complementary effort that supported what Soleimani was doing. But they are very focused on the destruction of Israel.